Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Happy Sunday, my little sinners. How are we? Been a while since I've done an EO stream. Goodness. Well, let me turn this music down a little bit. There we go. Turn off the standby. There we go. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Every time. Happy Sunday. How are you all doing today? Not a whole lot of people here at the church today. How many people are playing right now? There's 70 people on Clone right now. I haven't been on Clone in a while, to be honest. I've been playing Bones Underground a lot. Wonder if people are going to start calling me a traitor. Someone's messaging me. Who would it be? I'm going to turn the volume down on my phone. There we go. Okay, so what to do today in EO? I guess we could just chill, hang out. And I'm gonna, let's see, what level, how much further do I have until I'm level, it's gonna be a while. I'm level 29. Could try really hard to get to level 30. Before we do that, let's go ahead and, get some mushrooms. I like getting me some mushrooms. It's been a while since I've done a good mushroom grind. Just for fun, for shits and giggles. Let's look at let's see here. Real poem by Sook for girl. Roses are red, violets are blue. Okay. There's a lot of, oh, here's something for Sorty. I love you, Sorty. You can have... Oh my god. Moon. Who's Moon? This one says Sup Obama. No, whatever. Okay. Well. That was completely useless. Turn on my global chat so I can read global. It's always entertaining to read global chat in EO. I don't know why, but it just is. Let me see here. How much space does my inventory allow me in this so far? Let's go ahead. Yeah, no. That's fine. I don't need a whole lot of space. We're just going to go grind a few mushrooms for a bit. Kind of get some monies stacked up. I could do Octo, but I'm pretty sure that place has probably got like maybe 3 or 4 people at it at the moment. So we're gonna go to my fun spot, my mushroom spot, my little gem of an area. It's so weird coming back to EO after like playing Bones Underground. I feel like I'm so weak now. I feel extremely weak, and I feel extremely slow now. But it's always good to go back to the basics, you know? Always good to go back to the basics. Take that mushroom. course, you always gotta get this gold. I saved that mana potion for whoever wants it. And of course, I love these guys. These guys get some. They drop some decent gold every once in a while. Oh, thank you. 103. Yes, I'll take whatever I can get. I might try to aim for level 30 today. Just to make that a goal. Leveling up is usually a pretty good goal. I still want to make a guild, but I don't know if that's going to be possible for a while. I don't think it will be. Oh, quick update too. So two things are happening. We are going to be recording a EO Adventures episode 3. This one actually has a loose-based script to it. I wrote the script myself, and it's basically like 90% of it is improv, and the rest is like actual written dialogue for a reason. But the first 2 episodes didn't have a script. It was just straight up improv and just us just reacting to it. And I know there's some people out there who really like the EO Adventures content, so I decided to continue EO Adventures. And I sweet-talked both Heretic Fox and Null. That's Charles and Alex. Because they only really join me on EO Adventures or several update videos. And they join me sometimes on streams. But yeah, they don't really play EO like I do. They're more into like different games because you know they didn't grow up playing EO like me. And but they're always welcome. They're always excited to come on and record content for me. So I sweet talked them into creating a Bones Underground account, and we're going to create BU Adventures. So there will now be an EO Adventures and a BU Adventures, which will be exciting. I was gonna make the recordings with Bones Underground, like with Hathi and Wishlock, to be like the BU Adventures equivalent, but I think it'd be better to have that for like just recording like quest and other stuff for BU. So we'll see how that goes. I think Hathi and Wish, I don't know if Wish knows about it yet, but I think Hathi said that she would like to record next Monday. So tomorrow, we may do a recording for Bones Underground. We still have stuff that is recorded for Bones Underground. I just haven't really gotten around to editing it yet. I've been prioritizing certain things. Is that a moving mushroom, or is that just a mushroom? I think it's an NPC. Yeah, it's an NPC. He dropped 13 gold. I saw somebody voted. Who's in here? Who's watching? Show yourself. Who voted in the chat? Who goes there? Okay, I do want to say something though. You know how I've talked a lot about that EO needs a change? And I still think it does. I still think EO desperately needs a change. And in my Sin TV video, I talked about like weapon balancing, and you know, like certain things like you can like enchant your weapons or stack them up. Oh, hello, Hendrix and Cayenne. Happy Sunday. How are we doing today? But I really think that if Clone kind of did what Bones Underground does, is add AoE weapons, where you can attack in all different directions, that would be great. I don't know how you do that, but after having an AoE weapon in Bones Underground, I've been kind of spoiled now. And this attacking in one direction shit is, it feels so slow now. Like I said, it's always good to go back to the basics. Return to its somewhat origins. This is as close to the origins as you can get. How are you guys doing? Ugh, I need to turn my shadows off. Ugh, turn that off. There we go. That'll make things run a little bit smoother. Watching me in bed. Well. How are you feeling, by the way? You still feeling sick? By the way, if there's something you guys want me to do in this game, just let me know. We could do something. I really don't know what to do other than just grind at the moment. Like, I want to start the guild, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the people to do it. I need 10 people to do the guild. It's gonna have to be something I'm gonna have to, like, just plan for everybody to show up. Let's see here from Cayenne. If Sausage is willing to add more stuff, I'd love to talk to him about stuff we could add. I agree. I'd love to see if I would love it, but I don't think Sausage will. Sausage seems to be more of a today's Voltar. And, I don't know. I think at this point it's just bragging rights of who owns EO. Let's see. Doing fine. Hey, I'm glad to hear you're doing fine. I'm doing fine, too. I almost thought I wasn't gonna make it today, to be honest. I got a little distracted watching TV with my boy. We were watching some awesome stuff. Let's see from Cayenne. Nose is still running, but right now I feel okay-ish. Maybe schedule a guild creation event? Yeah, I know what you mean. I still don't feel 100% with my health. Like, I still feel gross and icky. Like, I'm sniffly. I'm kind of congested today, and my ear still isn't healing, so I still can't really hear out of my right ear. I still have a cough. I don't think I'm ever going to get better at this point. Yeah, I do need to schedule a guild event thing. I just don't know if people are going to show up. I may just either make a video or make an announcement in the Discord. I'd be like, hey, join the guild. Oh! Let's see. I don't think that the majority of people with that ability to seize the opportunity EO could provide ever will. I agree. I don't know if because there's a lot of people who've talked about fixing EO and making it better, but it's always been like a dead project. Like, you get people who are passionate in the beginning and then they lose the passion. And not only that, but then you got to consider like a lot of things that are going on in the background, like EO's game engine. It's so limited because it's so old. So there's really not a whole lot you can do. The only reason why Bones Underground was able to do what it did is because they started from scratch. So, I don't know. I really don't know what they would do. But I agree with you. I'm not sure what would be I don't know what we could do to fix EO. I'd love to be able to fix it if I could, but I don't have the time to do that. I don't know how to code games. I'm a basic boy. My son looked at me like, what? No, you don't. Yeah, I don't know. If somebody was out there was like actually passionate to like recreate EO in a new game engine, like a true successor or a revamp, I think it's going to take a lot of patience on that person's end, and there's going to be a lot of flack that's going to go their way. Let's
Let's see, all I could offer is pixel art skills, but it has a lot of dedication to improve EO. If the opportunity was available, not sure this game could get popular in this day and age.
Yeah, I agree. It's also one of those things where it's like, it's a time thing.
Let's see, EOR, TFG is good as well. If Cascade gets motivated. I don't think I've played EOR or TFG.
TFG, what was TFG? I don't remember. Yeah, it would require a lot of dedication. Like, I don't even know if it should even be pixelated anymore. I think everybody, because the reason why EO even started in the first place, as the type of game that it is, was so that anybody on a bad PC can run it. But let's face it, how many people actually have a real bad PC these days? Like, I know, like, PCs are expensive and some people are on laptops, but how many people, I mean, think about the technology today.
Let's see, this game fills a niche that could grow with proper promotion and leadership. Too many toxic people in the EO community. EO's community has always been a bit
different. No, I agree with you there. Although, what's interesting is you look at the EO community and you look at Bones Underground's community, which is basically people from EO, and you see a huge difference in the community. Let's see here. EO's community has also been a bit different. The Forbidden Gates is completely different game, like, you know, so okay, I see. Yeah, like, EO's community is definitely toxic, 100% on that. But I think if you had actual admins and moderators who actually were, you know, moderating and doing their job, and trying to help to make the community an actual non-toxic community, because you're always going to have toxic people in the community. But I mean, you look at Bones Underground. Its community is, I mean, it's not toxic. It's not the best, but I mean, people in that community are so nice. Like, they're so supportive and nice. I love the Bones Underground community.
It's a breath of fresh air. Let's see, Bones Underground is pretty amazing. I haven't dabbled in too many EO servers.
I haven't either, to be honest, but I do love the Bones Underground community. Like, I think that is a really amazing community. I mean, yeah, people still kind of troll people and give them hard times, but it is nothing like EO's community. It really isn't. Like, everybody's super nice and super generous in that community. So I think, honestly, if you just had proper administration and moderation in the community and people who are actually active in the community, then I think that if you're managing it, it would be less toxic, because then you can, like, control the mood of the community in a way. Like, you don't want to be over controlling like a dictator, but you want to set, like, ground rules for, like, how people should act in the game. You want people to have an enjoyable experience. Yeah, I don't know. I wondered though about this. Like, should EO stay 2D and pixelated, or should it actually be like a 3D game now? Because I mean, most people have like an actual decent computer now to play, you know, 3D games. You know, reason why EO is like this, because back in the early days, people didn't have very good PCs.
Let's see here. From Cadman. Siin, you got me back into EO. I don't know if I should thank you or curse you for showing me it's still alive. Hey, you can do whatever you want. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate your comment there. I'm always happy to share the word of EO again. I kind of know what you mean, though, about if it's a curse or a blessing. It is a nice nostalgia trip. It really is. I definitely, I always have a smile on my face when I play EO. And it brings back so many memories playing with my friends. The only thing is now playing Clone EO is that
It feels lonely. That's what it feels like now. It just feels like I'm just going down memory lane rather than actually playing the game like I used to. I just feel like I'm just walking down memories at this point. Let's see here. From Cayenne. I'm a simp for pixel art, so I would want it to stay for pixels. I can understand that. From Enrix. I think the game should stay as it is, but optimized, it fills a niche, and I don't think it's competes well with the 3D space. Yeah, you might. I think you're right. It would be interesting to see what a 3D EO would look like, but I mean, if the graphics were still the same, just kind of improved a bit, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with that if it stayed 2D pixelated. I think it would be... I think... The only thing, though, is I hate the freaking arrow keys as movement. I would like to have the WASD keys, because it's uncomfortable for my arm to do the arrow keys. But I can also understand why they use the arrow keys, because EO involves a lot of typing. So, I don't know. I don't like arrow keys as controls. Give me this gold. Oh yeah, also, I was gonna let you guys know. I did something naughty. I created a Siin TV TikTok account. So what that's going to be is I'm going to be re-uploading some shorts from Siin TV, maybe some other stuff like blooper recordings and stuff, or short skits to Siin TV on TikTok. And I'm hoping maybe we can reach out to the TikTok community and spread the word of EO through TikTok as well. I think that'll help out a lot. You got to reach in all different categories. Let's see here. 2D is best, I think, but some areas like Forest by Nudo needs help with lag for some reason. I think the reason why is because of the shadows. I'm not sure, you know, even with a really good PC, it still lags. It's weird. I think it's just over-cluttered with something. And anytime I go in an area where there's a lot of trees, I get that a lot. But if you turn your shadows off in that area, like disable it, it works fine. But I know what you mean. Yeah, I sometimes accidentally attempt to use WSD when playing EO, only to fail miserably. You know, actually, there's certain keyboards that you can buy, gaming keyboards, that will let you reconfigure the controls of certain games without actually having to go into the game settings. So there are people who actually do use WASD for their keyboard on Endless. Same on the WSD. Yeah, I'm just, when you play with WASD for so long, you just get used to it, and playing anything else feels foreign to you. I mean, in terms of potential for large audience, TikTok isn't a bad idea. I still mock you for making one, though. I don't care. I have 2 TikTok accounts. I have an Obscure Cartoons TikTok account, and now a Siin TV TikTok account. The only reason why I try not to use my Obscure Cartoons TikTok account now is because I made the mistake and let my... I was like, Dad, you need to check out TikTok. And so I was like, here, I'll let you borrow my account so you can check out TikTok. I get on my TikTok the next day, and it's filled with just nothing but conspiracy theory stuff. And now I go on my TikTok, and I just see nothing but conspiracy theory and political stuff, and it scares me. I browse TikTok for like 5 minutes, and then I'm scared. So it's kind of another reason why I made a second TikTok account. So I can have my own, like, For You thing going on, rather than someone else. But now I got my dad addicted to TikTok. Every time I see him, he's always on TikTok now. Let's see. I like Bones Underground and what they've accomplished, but I really, really hate combat numbers that are unnecessarily high and vaguely comprehensible. I can understand that. I don't think with Bones Underground it's necessarily about I don't think it's meant to be played like EO. I think it's meant to. I think it's got a different type of combat to it. I don't know. I know what you mean though. Like the numbers are pretty high, and sometimes I get confused with those high numbers. But I've been able to slowly adapt to it. I'm mainly just exploring. I stay at the Neptunes all day and level up, and I've been trying to get more into events and quests. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes us. I do enjoy Bones Underground though a lot, and the admins are super like supportive. Like Cyrus has been like super supportive of our content, and he just shows up and he's a really nice guy. His whole team really is nice. Let's see. I'm just messing with you though. TikTok is a good idea. Just user what kind of audience you'd attract. Yeah, we'll see what happens out of the TikTok account. Let's see. It's what happened in World of Warcraft. One time was a horrible experience for the period of time. I only mock you out of love. I never really played. I play a little bit of World of Warcraft here and there, but so I'm not really too familiar with WoW, to be honest. I was one of those guys who never really played it much. I mean, I played it, and I've had friends that played it, but I never could get into it, you know what I mean? I don't know. Well, so far, though, I mean, there's a lot of nice people in Bones Underground that will actually take the time to explain stuff to you and kind of help you through whatever you need help with. So, like, a user on there is Rinshaw. He's been super helpful helping me with quests and figuring stuff out. So that's one good thing about it, is that the community is super helpful in trying to help new players figure things out. Let's see here. But you can't tell me that you are able to rationalize the health enemies have or the damage, lol. You just watch the bar and make... Yeah. You know, and some enemies, like, Cyrus was explaining this with some of the bosses in the game. There are certain bosses in the game where you actually have to do something for a quest, and, like, you have to do something in a specific order, and if you don't do it, then the boss could one-shot you, or if you do it in the right way, then you can actually take on the boss one-on-one. So it's just kind of like how it's a learning experience of how you play it. That's what he was explaining to me. Like, there's all kinds of neat stuff like that, which I think it's kind of neat that there's a boss that, in order to fight it legitimately, you have to do the quest the right way. Otherwise, he just kills you in one hit. Makes it kind of feel like that doing that quest was worth it. BU is very difficult to get started with. If I don't have people tell me what to do, I probably have no clue. I like the idea of quick calculating my DPs and determine if I can down sometime before I die myself. It's also very mechanically cool in a good way. Well, you guys are awesome today. You guys are chatty and awesome. I love it. Keep going. Send me them ideas. Send me them love. That's the. You guys are on the ball today with the chat. I love it. We should get Cyrus in here. Get Cyrus in here and let him get in on this conversation. I think Cyrus would have some good talk on this. He may actually be watching, who knows? Of course, he could also probably be asleep too. I think he lives in Australia. I will say, like, there is a learning curve to Bones Underground. I'm still learning a lot. But I honestly think that over time, it starts to become more and more understandable. But I'm still learning, and I think that's the charm of picking up a game that you don't understand is learning it. And it's scary at first. It really is scary when you pick something up that looks familiar, but doesn't feel familiar. It feels foreign to you. But I kind of like that because it's like, oh man, like this is a new experience. Like I don't actually play this. Like it's EO, but it's not, and it doesn't play like EO, which is amazing. I like this. It's refreshing.
Let's see here. The fact that there are several EO servers competing seems to be a hindrance to improving the player count.
I think you might be right on that. I think the fact that there's so many competitive servers now, it really kind of hurts it because people don't know really what to do, where to go. And for me, like when it comes to EO servers, it took me a while to actually play Bones Underground. Like it took a lot of convincing from several people to play Bones Underground because I'm skeptical about playing on servers. There's certain servers that I actually refuse to play because of certain people, certain players, and their community guidelines. So I don't know. I'm very hesitant about playing certain servers.
See, I just think it's good to keep numbers at an understandable level to retain new players. Not everyone has someone to help them in EO. If you understand the equation for damage, you can calc it quick.
No, you're right. You're right. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there's also players out there too who, like, you know, they can handle bigger numbers to understand, and there's also players out there who can handle the bigger numbers. Like, it's like playing, like, the difference between, like, playing Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, like, you have to... There's a huge number difference in Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh's got higher numbers, Magic doesn't. But Magic is a little bit more complicated in rules, in my opinion. But it's just a matter of your gaming preference. Like, can you handle the bigger numbers or can you not? Me personally, when it comes to like card games, I cannot handle bigger. I hate calculating stuff. Even though I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I think it's funny how I'm sitting here comparing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic to Endless Online and Bones Underground. What a day. Me sitting there comparing 2 different things. 4 different things, really. Yeah, take that. How many mushrooms do I have? I have 16 mushrooms. What do you know? I'm a rich boy.
Let's see, yeah, I think large numbers is kind of unnecessary, harder to process both visually and mentally. I feel like games doing big numbers so that players feel powerful or something. I mean, 2 master degrees, and I hate the numbers that are unnecessarily large, lol. Simple stupid is the way to go.
I hear you. I hear you. I think it's just also one of those things where it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just a matter of preference. And that's where the different servers have to offer that kind of stuff. It's really just a matter of your preference. I honestly don't pay attention to the large numbers. Wait, hold on. Sin's dream come true is an EO and card game hybrid. Maybe. I might. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make an EO. I actually am working on a card game, though, but it's not an EO card game. Definitely not an EO card game. I don't even know how you would even begin to make an EO card game. How would you even begin to make something like that? That would be weird. But I do think that if Clone actually incorporated stuff like enchanted weapons or better drop rates, balancing out the weapons, add some new weapons, even add some AoE weapons or weapons that do different things, you know, other than just number damage, you know, just the number of attack damage. I think that would change EO and kind of improve things a little bit.
Let's see here. Cadman. EO will take off as soon as the mobile app is made.
Are they really going to make a mobile app? I've heard people asking for one, but I don't see anything about that. It would be cool, though, if there was a mobile app. I'd be playing the shit out of that right now.
Let's see. What they've done with BU is amazing, though. I don't want to take anything away from the project. Just my own personal grumbles.
Hey, no, completely understandable, and you're entitled to that. I have my own, you know, I think it's like with any game, really. You have your own personal opinions about it. Not every game's perfect. But the good thing is, too, like, that Bones Underground has compared to EO, like Clone, is that you actually have a good community, and you actually have good admins and moderators who are very open to ideas and suggestions. Like, Cyrus is super open to opinions and suggestions to help improve Bones Underground. Versus, excuse me, I burped. Versus Sausage on Clone, he's just gone AWOL. Like he's quiet. They've taken the whole like God approach thing, where it's like, I hear you, but I'm not going to respond to you, kind of thing. And I think that's the wrong way of going about making a good MMO. That's one thing I do say that Bones Underground has an advantage over, is that the admins will listen to you.
Let's see here. I don't know if anyone was actually building a mobile app, but I have seen the demand.
I have too. I've seen the demand for a mobile app. You know, honestly, too, they need to find someone who can recode it to Mac and Linux as well, because I think a lot of people, there's people who use Mac and Linux and they want to play this game, and I've had several people leave comments on my page asking, is there a way to play EO on Mac or Linux? And I've even tried this before in the past, because I used to have a Mac and Linux, and so I can tell them, like, I have not found a successful way to do it yet. I've tried every single way that I could think of that would work. The only thing that would work is to run Windows on a virtual machine and play EO that way. But they should make something, like, you know, for different operating systems.
I forgot who it was. Bling knows, I think.
Oh, the person that's trying to make the app? It would be interesting to have a mobile app. I don't know how that would work. Would you be able to, like, could you actually make it to where it plays, like, could you make it cross-platform, though? Like, is EO something that you can cross-platform? Because you gotta think about that, like, could you play on the same server as Clone, or would there have to be a separate server for the mobile app? I don't know. That's an interesting thing to think about, though. Come here, Mushroom. Don't run away from me. And embrace your death. Thank you. Oh, this music's chill. Man, what a great start this stream has been. Thank you, everybody, for your opinions and for commenting. Like, God, what a great start to a stream. I love it. By the way, if you want to jump in voice chat with me, hold on. Let me put the Discord link in the chat. I am in the voice room. I'm in the stream room and voice chat. And anyone's welcome to jump in and voice chat with me instead of wait, hold on. What's going on here?
You're always welcome to jump in voice chat with me and talk. There we go. Oh shit, hold on. There we go. There's the Discord link. That's the Siin TV Discord. If you guys could add one thing in EO to improve it, and only one thing, what would you pick? Ooh, one thing only. Honestly, I think my biggest issue with EO is the useless weapons and items. Like, I would consider weapons and gear to be the same category, but maybe not. But yeah, I would definitely balance. If it was balanced to where it actually had a value to it, I think it would make things a little bit more interesting. Like, I think there needs to be a major improvement on gear more than anything in this game. Like, I can care less about getting strong armor, but as long as I got a decent weapon and I can level decently with a weapon, that's all that matters to me. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Rebalance the weapon system, implement types of weaknesses. I've explained this concept to Siin, but it's been many moons ago. Yeah, we talked about this. I agree with you 100%. I think, honestly, weapons need to be rebalanced. Everything, weapon and armors need to be rebalanced. And I honestly believe there needs to be some sort of enchantment system. Like, where you can upgrade weapons or armor. And so, like, somebody could have a twin blade, and then somebody else could have a level 2 twin blade, and it's completely different stat-wise than other people. So if you hop in the arena with someone else who has the same weapon as you, you could actually have a weapon that's a completely different stat weapon. Like, maybe that twin blade added a +4 bleed after every 30 hits, or maybe it froze your enemy after every 30 hits or something. I don't know. I think enchanting weapons, giving it different abilities, it does different things stat-wise, could really add to a value of a weapon. And maybe even weapons that have, like, AoE effects, too. Like, I think AoE and EO would be a really good thing. Especially, like, in the cave with the Reapers, where you have those little freaking things coming after you every time. An AoE weapon would be perfect in that area. Let's see here. A couple of simple lines of code could resolve the majority of issues with EO's weapon system. I agree. But I don't think Sausage is ever going to do it. I keep hoping one day I'll talk to Sausage, but I don't think that's going to be a thing. I don't think Sausage or his team are open to any suggestions or opinions. What about you, Cayenne? What would you change? What would be the one thing in EO that you would change, Cayenne? Oh, there's Andrew. Wait, Andrew Cyrus, right? I keep forgetting who's who. I'm so used to seeing usernames, so it's weird when I see a different username. Maybe it's the BU in me, but I would love AoE. I would honestly love AoE. After playing with AoE weapons in Bones Underground, I feel spoiled. And then I come back to EO and I'm like, ugh, one at a time. That's icky. And the most you can really do with multiple at a time is spells, but even then, that's a pain in the ass to do. Let's see here. Piercing, crushing, slashing as modifiers for examples. Let's assume we are fighting a stone golem. A TB... Oh, contact. Okay, sorry about that, contact. I don't know why I keep confusing people's YouTube usernames. I don't know why. Let's assume that you would be going against a twin blade would be weak, / a hammer crushing... No, I agree with you there. And I also believe that certain weapons should have an actual attack speed. So say, like, if you have a twin blade versus a katana should do less damage, in my opinion, but should be faster, like, attack-wise. And a twin blade should be stronger in attack-wise, but should be slower in attack speed.
That way they both kind of like counterbalance each other. So you could be like that player. It's like, okay, do I want bigger, stronger attacks, or do I want more speed with my attacks? Let's see here. And welcome to the stream, Contact. It's good to have you on. How have you been today? Happy Sunday. Let's see here. Slash would be 0.75, for example. Piercing could be 1.0 or 1.25. 1.25 would be a good one. I think 1.25 is a good number. What about you? Let's see here. What about you, Contact? Oh wait, you know, you already said. You said AOE. Okay. What about you, Cayenne? Let's see here. If weapons had modifiers and enemies had weakness, people would maintain multiple sets of gear and they would wear different gear constantly. I agree. It makes the gear, in my opinion, if you can upgrade your gear to do different things. So say like if I had, kind of like in my Siin TV episode where it said like, you can enchant a weapon to actually have a bleed effect, or a weapon to freeze your enemies, or a weapon that heals you after every so many hits. And if you had a weapon that did different things, each weapon had their own unique set of skills, not only would that increase, what's the word I'm looking for? It would inspire players to go out and find unique weapons, and they would actually go to NPCs to upgrade weapons, and then these blacksmiths in the game wouldn't be useless. They would actually have a use to them. Same with the witch. I mean, the witch is already useful as it is, but the witch would have more useful abilities. And then you would have weapons that are unique to one another. So if you went to the arena, instead of just sitting there saying like, oh, he's got a twin blade, I've got a twin blade, we're even at this point, unless he's a higher level than me. But you could have somebody who has a twin blade that does something completely different than what you have. So in the market as well, in the economy, it would really make your weapons stand out from other ones. Let's see here. I gotta catch up on the chat here. Let's see. I would make the game dynamic and not stale. People wouldn't just wear Auron or Scab to be... No, I agree. That's why I always rock the tux, because I don't care about wearing what everybody else wears. Clones seem to have started out with the mantra of just being a clone of what there was with basic fixes. I feel like the team is slowly changing that to add new stuff like elite drags. Yeah, they're making slow changes. I'll give you that on that. I'll give Clone that for sure. The thing I change is very much oriented towards my lack of preference in grinding. Basically, I add a second play style that favors passive play, kind of like usage tokens and BU. And then let's see here. As a player, you would have decisions to make opportunity cost. Except I would want passive social play and more viable options for gaming, except gold and armor. I think online games need to start favoring different play styles, or make it not, oh my god, time consuming for people who have less time. I like your idea as well, but it would be harder to implement. It would be ridiculously easy to add the strength weakness system and weapons and monsters. I agree. Okay, let me throw this one at you, everybody. Let me change the conversation here for a second. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil Siin TV episode 2 for you. Should I spoil it? Because this is a topic I really wanted to talk about for a while. Let me ask you this. Do you want me to spoil what I'm going to be talking about in Siin TV 2? Or do you want to wait? Because I can hold off on this question. I think it would make a great conversation. I really want to... This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while with EO. And I think it would be a game changer, to be honest. Not a big game changer, but it would definitely change the game. Type yes or no if you want me to talk about it and spoil it. I really want to... I really don't care about spoiling episode 2. I plan on actually still releasing episode 2, but I'm going to be using visuals to show off what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Okay, what about the rest of you? Do you want me to spoil episode 2 of Sin 2? Because I think this would make a good conversation piece.
Let's see here. Well, you want to talk about it, so I don't mind being spoiled. Don't know how everyone else feels, though. I think that if you want to have a discussion, this is an open forum currently.
Yes, okay. Okay, here we go. Here's my idea. And I don't know if this could be implemented in EO or not, and I don't know how you could do it. But I would really love to see something like this added to EO. Okay. What if EO had a day and night system? Now, it's always daytime in EO. But what if... and I don't know how you would implement the nighttime clock. Like, if it's just on its own time zone, or if it works to your time zone, or if it's just a timed-out mechanic. But at night, monsters are much stronger. They are harder to get rid of. They spawn faster, and they have more unique drops to them. I would love a nighttime, and not only that, but also each map would have its own night version of its song. So it would sound almost like a music box with maybe like a cricket chirp in the background. It would be a different version of the song, a nighttime version. But I would love to see a day and night system added to EO, because I'm tired of seeing daytime in EO. I would love to see what a nighttime EO would look like. Imagine going down the street, and the lamps that are actually in Avon are actually lit up and illuminating, and it's nighttime. I would love to see that so bad in EO. Like I said, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I don't know if that could even be possible. But I would love to see something like that. What do you guys think? Bad idea? Good idea? It's something I've been sitting on for a while.
Let's see, I would think you could implement it, but how you would approach the coding could determine the overall difficulty of the implementation. Yeah, that would be way cool. The idea of world bosses has been tossed around in BU. Something that takes multiple strong players sometimes to kill, but you are rewarded generously depending on the damage percent. If you were to add a day and night, it would have to be disconnected from a full one-on-one. Oh, I see. Time due to time zones. Maybe a rotating timer, like every 5 hours or so, is always.
Yeah, it would have to be on a timer, for sure. And the thing is, too, like, I don't think with EO, probably the problem with a day and night system would be you would have to, like, I don't think the day or night would transition very well in EO, because you may have to, like, leave the map for it to actually actually show day and night on the map, or you would have to refresh it to let, like, there'd have to be like an alert message to say it's now nighttime, refresh your game. And I just don't know. I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know if it's even possible to do in EO. I just don't know. And as for, like, making the monsters stronger at night and more unique to give it a more challenge, I really don't know. But I think that would be really cool, even if it's just a day and night system, you know? Even if you didn't change the monsters in the game, but, like, just a day and night system. I would love to see everything in a nighttime version. It's always daytime in EO. How do we sleep? The role player in me is coming out now. Is that a mushroom? Yeah, it's a mushroom. Get out of here, mushroom. Give me that 13 gold. I want that 13 gold. Can I have that 13 gold? Thank you for that 13 gold.
Let's see. It would need a global night and day for monsters to all appear at the same time for players. People on different times could work, but that would require private zones only to affected by the player's time. That being said, being terrified at night and needing a group together to survive a night sounds awesome. Go to Dreamworld to sleep. I agree with you, Cayenne. I think it would change how you play EO, because then at night you'd have to work harder to get certain things. you'd have to actually work together as a team because during the nighttime it would be scary. Like, unless you're in town, you're safe in town. I personally think you would need to pick a time zone and let it run a cycle regardless of what it was. Perhaps pick something Central or US, EU, and call it as. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't matter what time zone it was. I mean, we're all used to playing games that have its own unique time zone. Like Ocarina of Time, where it goes day and night after every 5 minutes. But yeah, that's what I've been sitting on that idea for a while. That's one of the topics I'm going to be talking about in the next Sin TV episode is the day and night system and what I think would be cool and how it'd be implemented. That's not the only thing I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to spoil the entire episode, but that's one of the big topics for it. Let's see here. I think the custom clients could implement it from a visual standpoint, but not Clone. Yeah, I don't think Clone could handle it, to be honest. But if you made a custom client that was identical to EO, but much more improved than what Clone's doing, and then add the day and night system, maybe, yeah. Maybe it's possible. Okay. How many mushrooms do I have? I have 25 mushrooms. I'll tell you what, let's see. It'd also be cool if, like, all the normal weapons in EO don't work on night monsters, and there's a unique set of weapons needed to do damage. Might be complex, though. That's an interesting idea. Like, at night, they're stronger, so your weapons you use during the daytime are completely useless compared to, like, maybe nighttime weapons that you need to get. Or maybe you need to have a night enchantment on a weapon. I don't know. I think there's so many ideas you can do with a night system in EO. Let's see here. I know some people play from Philippines. I'm in Eastern. Okay. And a time zone set would mean one group would only play at night at normal hours. That's why I suggested an odd rotation. The non-visual stuff is simplified terms. Could be controlled with global modifiers, health damage, XP, gold, global modifiers during night. Man, you guys are throwing out some great ideas. Like, no joke. Like, I love this. Really throwing out some good ideas here, everybody. I love how passionate you all are. I love it. Tell you what, I'll be right back. Let me go use the restroom. You guys continue though. Continue talking. Like, I'll be right back. It won't take me very long. I'm a quick peer. Okay, I'm back. Let's see, what did I miss here? Honestly, yeah, day and night cycles would be better on shorter cycles instead of every 12 hours to give people more opportunities to be on a cycle they want to play. So yeah, maybe every few hours.
Like, yeah, like maybe like every 5 hours it changes. So that way it's like you can plan out your events, or you can plan out how to strategize how you want to play your EO experience. So you're like, okay, I know around 6 p.m. it's gonna be nighttime, and then I know around this time of the day it's gonna be daytime. So I want to train during the nights, and so you can actually plan out when you're gonna play EO.
Let's see here. It just depends on how things are scripted. The original Endless Online code is a nightmare in a lot of ways, but the custom clients have done a much better job organizing variables.
Yeah, I hear the original code for who's this? Dang it, I didn't get to respond.
Uh, let's see. When coding, you never want to put yourself in a box where you have to control each unique thing individually. Modifying entire classes with less code is always preferred. Yeah, I also work rotating nights, days, so I'm often up all night.
Man, you guys got some great ideas today. I love it. I love it. I had another suggestion for the day and night system, but I don't remember it now. I don't know. Okay, so we talked about one thing that we could add into EO, or that we would change in EO. So here's my question, as an opposite question here. What's one thing you would take out of EO? Something that you feel was a bad idea that was implemented in EO. What's one thing that you would take out of it? I honestly think repeating quests can be taken advantage of. So, I mean, I'm sure there's other things I could think of that would be taken out of EO. But that's the first one that comes to my mind, is repeatable quests. Like, it just seems redundant and cheap. But it's also a great way to help people like quickly level up to where they want to get. I don't know. What do you guys think? What would be one thing you would take out of EO? Let's see here.
Something that would help Endless Online, or really any game like this, implement a damn lore master writer into your terms. Don't just do random things without reason. Give stuff relevance.
I agree. 100%.
Write a paragraph about a twin blade and tell me why it's cool. Make it relevant to me.
Ugh. I gotta write. I don't want to write a paragraph. I get what you mean, though. I get it. I get it. You got good points. Good points.
Let's see here, from Cayenne. Probably controversial. I'd remove the stat gain from leveling up. Like, I liked EO more than stat boosts were, weapons and armor based. Basically craft based leveling.
Oh, so you would just take out just stat grinding. I can understand that. Like, you don't grow, like, strength-wise, but you grow as, like... Well, you kind of do in a way if you modify weapons and stuff. You're always going to have the... Somehow, some way, someone's going to outdo you in strength or something. Alright, let's go to the witch. I'm going to cash in on my goods. Boop, ba-doop, 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 boop. Ba-doop, ba-doop, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, boop. Boop, ba-doop, boop, boop, ba-doop, boop.
See, I don't know if there's that much fat to trim from EO. It's very basic. The issue is all the dead ends and unimplemented or unfinished features. Yeah, that's true. Like there's the whole like what is it called? Let me see here. The where is it? I don't remember. Yeah, there's certain things that just aren't finished, and it's weird to see. Let's see here. A final boss you were working on towards defeating. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that too. I like when everyone did the same damage with magic back when it was first added. Yeah, now everybody just competes to be the strongest. I mean, it's good friendly competition. It's always good to have good friendly competition, but when it comes to EO, it's not exactly good friendly competition. It's toxic competition. That's what I would remove from EO. The toxic people. The toxicity. And the maze. I would remove the maze. I would get rid of it. 100%. I hate the maze. Oh, you seem sad. Don't be sad. Let's get rid of all these. Give me this. Got my monies. Let's see here. Let's see. Reading my message for that one, or read my message before that one. Something that could help endlessonline or really any game like this implement and oh wait. Write a paragraph about I'll see your other message. Not you, but for people with zero connection. Hold on. My chat is screwing me up here. Everybody stop talking for a second. Not you, but for people with zero connection to the game, you've got to get them invested. Imagine if BU had a story that was progressing, content and items releasing based on the story. Yeah. Okay. For all we know, Opposing is a good guy. I don't know about that. Who is this? Who are you? Who's Crawl? I don't know who Crawl is. Hi, Crawl. It's amazing. No, it's not. The maze is not amazing. I hate the maze. Let me say hi to this guy. I love the maze. I know you do, Cayenne. I know you do. We can develop our own stories, but we need a base to go off of. Yeah, we could. Which, by the way, I'm writing my own book right now. Still a bit off from publishing, though. Ooh, neato. Ooh, you're a writer? Nice. Trade with me? Who? What do you want to trade? Who is this person? Royal Boots? I don't want Royal Boots. No, thank you. I don't want Royal Boots. I already have Royal Boots. I don't need Royal Boots. It's one of my many hobbies. Well, hey, did you know that one of my many hobbies is writing comic books?
I do comic books, graphic novels, and stuff, so it's always nice to meet another writer. I'll leave this party now. Get out of here. I don't know who this person is and why they wanted to join a party just to trade me. Always nice to meet another fellow writer. Anybody else got any EO topics or questions or stuff they want to talk about? This has been fun. This has been a lot of fun talking about this stuff. I'm always interested in talking about EO topics. I'm gonna take a break real quick from grinding. I don't know who Crawl is. Every time I hear the name Crawl, I think of Crawl from Son-in-Law. Rebecca, what's up? Oh, my back. I don't need to sound like an old man on stream. Let's go to the bank real quick. I need to deposit my monies. My monies need to be deposited. Get out of my way, tree. Move! You're on my way. Oh, there's a lot of people here. A lot of people in this bank. Hello. Don't walk away from me. It's a bad business practice. There we go. I used up a lot of my monies for like buying stuff for people. See, I think that a lot of the folks doing the private servers are so close to achieving something great, but are generally lacking a few pieces of the puzzle. Yeah. I don't know. I've only played on a different server. I've only played on Bones Underground, so I don't really know what other servers are doing, to be honest. So can you give us an example, though? That way I can kind of see what you're talking about. Because I've never played on other servers. I've only played on BU. But please, give me examples. Boop, 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 doo. You know, I'm also very spoiled now by the warp whistle. The warp flute or whatever from Bones Underground. I'm really spoiled by that now. Walking around in this game takes forever. Let's see here. There are so many talented people. Wait, hold on. There are so many talented people in the EO community. I wish that by some divine intervention, the stars would align. You and me both. You and me both. There are a lot of passionate, talented people in the EO community. I'd only have an interest in trying to remake EO if Voltar handed over the rights to it. Otherwise, it's always gonna be a risk, copyright and all that. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. What are you doing? Why are you surrounding me? Who is this person? Cadman, why are you surrounding me in boots? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you surrounding me in royal boots? I keep having dreams of obtaining EO and making it better. Maybe it's the future. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to go about claiming the rights to Endless Online. That's a sticky mess, to be honest. Well, I think that ultimately someone has to carry on Endless Online, but as something different, i.e. Bones Underground is a good example. Yeah, Bones Underground is a perfect example. It really is. I enjoy playing Bones Underground a lot. Like I think I'm more addicted to playing Bones Underground than I am EO these days. Royal boots are your one weakness. You know what? We're gonna make him sin. Time to throw out my sin potions to you.
We contact Mr. Arnold Van der Horst himself, or however his name is spelt. I have no idea how his name's spelt. We're just chilling our little bubbles. Our little bubble chill. I was gonna go kill some bigger monsters for some leveling up, but leveling up in this game is not a big priority for me. Sometimes it's just the experience, you know? Just the experience of just chilling, role-playing, being something that you're not. Let's see here. I don't really think that Volt could go after BU. It's mostly custom. I don't think he can either. A lot of the BU maze was basically a reskin of EO maze. Okay, here's what I think when it comes to BU and copyright things. I don't think that Volt could go after him, and I don't think he would, to be honest. Even if it was a copyright issue, I don't think he would actually do that. There are things called alternate universes and alter applications. So, graphic-wise, maybe he could go after it a little bit. Concept-wise, he could probably go after it legally. But I don't think that he would do that, though. I think he's at that point where he just doesn't care anymore. And why would you be upset if somebody is trying to keep the community alive? You know what I mean? But there's a lot of changes in Bones Underground visually that makes it different than EO. So I don't know. I really don't know the legal terms of that. Let's see, I'm not sure if he really has much power over any of it, though, to be honest, I feel like I've seen them discuss it in the Discord. I don't think Volt wants anything to do with EO anymore. People tried to track him down before, and nothing came of it, from what I understand. I don't think Voltar would ever bother to go after people, but I think it's still the right thing to do if he has his permission. All of that's really kind of like hard to figure out. I mean, Volt does own the rights to it. But what Volt should do if he gave up on it, I think at this point, it's like, yeah, Sausage owns Clone in a way. It's like who owns the EO now, but when it comes down to it, Volt still owns the right to it all. He could shut it all down if he wanted to, but he's not choosing to. So I think what he should do is find somebody who's passionate about this project and will actually make a difference in the game and hand over the rights, or co-hand over the rights, where they're also co-creator. Don't know. Maybe he's looking for that. Maybe he's looking for a true successor to step up to the plate and, you know, bat a home run for it. Maybe that's what he's actually looking for. Maybe that's why he's being so quiet, is to see what comes out of these, you know, the people in the community. You never know. Voltar's a mystery. Yeah, it was one of those people trying to track him down like 10 years ago. Talked to Angie on MySpace. If someone started making money from a project, though, it could get interesting. Yeah, I think so. That's also where that comes into play, is if you're making money off of, you know, something like that. If Voltar watched YouTube, maybe he'll find us one day. I don't know. The guy's a mystery. Him and Sausage both are very mysterious. Like, I don't think they ever really look up anything EO related. It would be interesting. I would love to have a conversation one day with Voltar, or Sausage, but I don't know if that's ever going to be a possibility. I really don't think so. I'm gonna smile. I smiled. See if he smiles back at me. Smile back at me. Let me know you're happy. Smile back at me, please. Please! You know, though, I think the one thing that is perfect about EO is the community. I mean, yes,
it has its pros and cons. It has its good people and it has its bad people, and every community has that. But I think that's one thing that is definitely keeping EO alive to this day is the community itself. If it wasn't for the community, I don't think EO would be around anymore. Like not even Clone. I don't even think Clone or any of it would be around anymore because basically the only thing Clone has for it at this point is that it's running off of people's nostalgia. It's running off of a nostalgia effect. I think that's what EO Clone has going for it. But you know, nostalgia will only take you so far. Let's see here. Does Volt R actually own EO 100% though? It could be a split ownership between him and some others involved. No? I don't know. I really don't know. That's something I'm not really aware of. It would be interesting to know though. Most people that do EO custom server stuff, they are very mysterious. Yeah, they are. Cyrus, though, who owns Bones Underground, he's... that dude is 100% legit, like, he will talk to you 100%. Because as unlikely as it sounds, it also doesn't sound far-fetched to look up content of your own game, especially knowing people still are live streaming it. Yeah, I'm sure he probably does to a certain degree, but like for me as a content creator, or me as someone who works on animations or comics, if something was stolen from me or I was not proud of it anymore, or if it was something that I just don't like anymore, because there's a lot of memories that tie into your personal work. There are certain things that I've worked on project-wise that I will never go back and look at, ever. Like, I refuse to go back and look at it because it's the past, and it's lack of progress for me. Let's see here. For some reason, they all have poor community interaction. Yeah, they do. They really do. I don't know why. Let's see here. Everyone is waiting on a hero to assemble the team to do something special. That should be us. We should be the heroes. Let's do it. Let's assemble it. I wouldn't even know where to begin with EO. That's why I just do content for EO. I mainly use the channel to spread the word, get the community to come back. Like, I've had a lot of people say, dude, I rediscovered EO because of you, and that's great. That's my goal, is to try to get people to remember EO and come back. And I think that would help out tremendously, but it's also on the admins to do their part too. Sausage was Sausage was on asking for opinions on the Halloween event, but that's the only time that I've seen him. Yeah, same. Oh my god, what's going on with my volume? Holy crap, something's going on. Ugh, switch that. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can, and it's disgusting. Gross. Why is it doing that? Let's try this. Let's exit out of that. Let's find the endless online music. That was really disgusting, what I was hearing. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that was like garbage in my ears. It was making this weird... Let me find... nope, that's not it. Obscure cartoons, everything. Synstream. Endless online music. There we go. Let's see if this sounds okay. Sortie seems to be more the community in between. Yeah, Sortie does seem to be that. Oh, it just closed for some weird reason. At minimum, I'd love for Voltar to explain what the heck happened. Or what the heck happened. Did he lose interest? Is he embarrassed of his game? I wish he would. I think he just kind of gave up. You know, I think he just didn't have a direction he was going for, and I think he just kind of gave up. Oh, hey, Cadman, you're in the stream room. Welcome, Cadman. Let me I don't know if you're mute or not.
Let me see here. Let me give you a role in the Discord here. You're now a sinner in the Discord. I don't know why Catman's quiet. Anyway. Hang on, let me get back into my thing here. Let's see. Just feels so unresolved. I think the hacks killed his interest. Have y'all not read what happened was done to Volt? I'm pretty sure people hacked his MSN and stuff. If he gave up, I'd still like for him to talk about it and why. I need answers. From what I've heard, and I don't really know how much of this is true or not, but from what I've heard when it comes to Endless Online, was somebody contacted his server host. Oh god, that's gross. Why is it doing that? I think it's something on my end. Let's try opening it with VLC Media Player. Maybe that'll fix it for me. I don't know. It hasn't done this for me in a long time, so I don't get it. From what I've heard, is that the server host. Oh god, gross. Okay, we're just gonna play without music for a second. Let my computer resolve whatever the hell's going on. But somebody had tricked his server host into giving him an email. They gave out an email and then they gave the information to the server to this other person, and it really pissed Volt off that his host did something like that without even actually legitimately checking. And so I think he quit EO out of anger, and also because I think that the project itself was dying, or it was just getting too out of his hands at this point. I don't know. But some of it is speculation on my end. It all seemed very suspicious. Yeah, I agree. I agree too. Let me hang on. Let me turn off my audio interface real quick and turn it back on. See if that fixes my issue here. Maybe if I also leave the Discord real quick, like leave it and then come back in. There we go. I don't know what this is gonna do. But some of my speculation is that it's all seemed very suspicious. I think that he let the community down to an extent, uh, but some extent he was also betrayed by the community he built. Yeah, and also his team was just not a very good team. He didn't have a very good team of people that really were passionate about it. Please work. Okay, good. We'll just play some EO music. That'll do. Sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear what was going on my end. It's happened before and nobody really could hear it when I streamed, but like my audio was like on. It was really disgusting. I hate it. But we're back to normal.
Hello.
Hey there, how's it going?
All right. I was on the phone earlier, so I couldn't answer.
Let me turn you up for the stream a little bit there. There we go. How are you doing, Cadman?
I'm all right.
Thanks for the royal boots. What is your opinion about EO? What we've been talking about. I don't know if you're watching the stream or not. Are you?
Yeah, in the chat is.
Okay.
Gotcha. Again.
That's right. God, I'm so bad with memory.
And I'm simple with it. It's not even that different of me.
I have such a bad memory too. I really do. Yeah, I'm not sure, Cayenne. I'm not sure if we're ever gonna get an actual answer from Vault ever. I don't know. I think between Bling and I, we spoke to every admin and guardian and the composer for EO except Arvid. Basically, none of them could do anything. I could see Arvid not doing anything. That's for sure. Never liked that guy. He was a
You
jerk.
could just ban people.
Yeah, that's really all he did was just ban people. I don't even want to think about Arvid. Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to really get a legitimate... I think that's as legitimate as an answer we're going to get for why EO is the way it is, or what happened to EO in its past.
I think the only way you'll get an answer from Bolt is if you actually go through like a Dutch phone book and track him down, like in person. I'm not joking. I think that's the only way you'll get an answer.
And do we actually know his real name? Like, a lot of people said that they knew what his name was, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm just going on the fact that people have said they know who his name is, so.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming because people have talked to Angie that she might have confirmed because she was a big early collaborator of his. I don't know what to call it, their relationship.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really talked to any of the admins except for Arvid, so I really don't know any of the story of any of them, to be honest. I know I had a buddy that he played EO in the very beginning and used to talk to Vault a lot, but that was it. So I don't really have any way of finding out anything. Let's see here. Okay, I sent emails to several emails associated with Voltar like 10 years ago or so. Tried to talk to him on MSN, just never got anything. Yeah, I don't think you will. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Volt's just done with it. I really do. I think he just got burnt out and was done with it. And I think
Well,
at this...
he had also... In fairness, he was developing this for free. I don't think he made any money except a minimal ad on his website. The game was free. He was paying for hosting and doing dev at the same time.
Yeah. So, I don't see... If it was me, honestly, if I had been in Volt's shoes and did the exact same thing, I probably would have given up on it, or I would have given the rights to somebody else. If I built a game and people were just abusing it, and I couldn't rely on my team, or it was just being hacked or stolen from me, then yeah, I would move on. You know, I mean, sometimes that's the best thing to do, is to move on, but then you got the side of the community who really do care about this game a lot, and they don't want you to move on. So the only other best thing you could do is hand the rights over to someone else who's going to keep it going. But the only thing we've got for that now is just Clone and all these different servers. And like I said, all Clone does really is just feed off your nostalgia at this point. EO is definitely nothing like it used to be. That's for sure. I feel a lot more alone these days in EO. Like I really do feel alone now. Like I feel like all I do is I walk around and I have all this time now to grind and do what I want to do, but I feel alone. I don't feel the competition anymore like I used to. And that's to be expected too, because I mean, a lot of the people kind of grew up out of EO. I was one of them. I thought EO was destroyed, and I gave up on EO and haven't played it in so many years, and then I came back, I was like, wait a minute, this is a thing still? And then I came back to EO. But, I don't know, what do you think, Cadman?
I mean, it's kind of the same. I played Warcraft, because that's where a lot of my friends went to. I still play it, but out of the blue, I started looking online for old EO stuff. I found your videos, and I started playing again.
Yeah. And that's the one good thing that comes out of doing EO content, is that it spreads the word. I've had so many people say, dude, I started playing again. That's awesome that I can do that for people. So I think honestly at this point, I don't really know if there is a fix. I think if we get the community growing again, and if there was an actual team of people who were passionate enough to and determined to do something to fix EO, I don't even know how you go about doing that. But I think spreading the word, though, is a good start. I think getting the community back is a good start. It also has its downfall, because as we see, EO is still its same community from back then. You still have the same type of people playing the game today. And if it gets too big again, then yes, there's going to be people trying to hack the game, botting and scamming and all that, or trying to steal your account.
I already occasionally see people botting, and I always hear about scammers. Every board has a thing. Watch out for this guy. He's a scammer.
Yep.
I just jumped in here from the stream. I think there's a lot of things that people need to sort of remember with EO, in that the game has been, beaten for a really long time. People know everything there is to know, and the game, I mean, you think about how you played a game 10 years ago versus how you play a game today. And like Cadman, I mean, I've been playing World of Warcraft for a really long time. People nowadays, we tend to optimize a game as much as we possibly can, whether we're trying to be as time efficient as possible, or we're, just how we approach things. I think some of the mysterious aspects of the game, so what made Endless Online so interesting when you were younger is that you could walk to a tile that you thought had nothing, it didn't do anything, and it would teleport you somewhere. But now everybody knows where all those are. Everybody, I don't know, the game's beaten. Well, so when I talk about EOR, TFG, those are new games, if you will. I mean, they're still the same tile sets as EO, whatever, for the most. Well, TFG is actually a completely different game, but EOR is Endless Online Remake, and it's just a completely different map. They have multiple people that make different maps for it and whatever, but there's some mystery to it, so it's interesting in that aspect. I think people only play Clone because it's what they remember playing. It's not really that it's that interesting. It's that, this is the game that I love to play, so they jump back in and they have a good time. But I think Bones Underground, while I've got my grumbles and I'm not going to go on about them forever right now, I think that Bones Underground almost captivates or captures what it needs to be an extremely successful game. But I think a lot of these communities, and I mean, I've jumped around, I got the Endless Online itch, if you will, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something like that, whenever I started kind of talking to you and jumping into this stream or whatever. And I just think that all of the communities have the same problem, where the developers are really removed from their own game. They have little to no interaction with their communities. I'm not super into the Bones Underground community, but I can see, watching your videos and the interactions you've had with Cyrus and the devs over there, it seems like they're the most interactive, or have the most to do with the community. And I think that is so important. But I think that if you want to retain new players and attract new players, you have to design your systems such that they're comprehensible, they're easy to understand and to follow. I think you have to have, you look at any AAA game right now, there are people that constantly interact with the community. They're people that the community respects. When you're pushing out content, like I was kind of mentioning earlier in my post on your stream, I think your content needs to follow sort of a path, you need to release stuff in a way that sort of makes sense. Instead of just releasing random item A, B, and C, you release stuff so that, you say Bones Underground patch 1.32, you make a flashy post about it, and these monsters are coming out, they're relevant, these items are coming out, they're relevant. The problem with these games, in my opinion, is that almost none of them have any direction. If you don't have somebody to help you or to show you around, there's no linear, and I don't think there should be linear progression. I think you should sort of determine where you go. It's kind of like the issue with WoW. You're spoon-fed everything. You move from point A to point B, whatever. but it's like these games. So WoW has too much direction, whereas these games have no direction, like whatsoever. And I think if you're trying to get new players to come in, I don't see how you can do it. I think the game only survives on the people that are so invested in it and have played it for so long. And I think eventually everybody will sort of move out of that, and the game will die unless somebody is able to captivate a new audience.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I say I think like Clone, for example, the only thing that's keeping it going is the community itself, and that it lives off of your nostalgia. And so, like, you know, like when I first played Clone, I was like, oh man, going down memory lane, like I remember this and that, and I had all these flashbacks, you know, playing the game. But after playing it for so long, you start to go, man, this is empty. It's just a it's just a shadow glory of its former self, and it's only living because of nostalgia. And you know, it's kind of it's kind of like someone hit the pause button on EO, and it's been on pause for a very, very long time. And yeah, there's been several changes and updates here and there, but it will not go very far until someone actually grabs the controller and takes it off of pause and does something with it, because nostalgia will only take you so far. It will only go to as far as it can go. And I think that it needs to capture the charm of it, but it definitely needs to be something new in a way. I think it needs to capture what the original Endless Online did, but it obviously can't. What's going on right now, it's not working. It's not working anymore. Times have changed. Us gamers have changed. We've grown since EO, and there's that demand for growth in EO, and we're not seeing the growth in EO. The game's got to grow with us.
I think a lot of the problem is that too many people are focused on today rather than the future. And what I mean by that is, like, you release these little temporary fixes, or you know, you release a couple items to keep people's interest, but they have truly no relevance. You know, you throw them on a random shopkeeper, okay, you can go make them, farm these items, throw it together, whatever. But I feel like you've got to start by designing and implementing what even Volt failed to do. You know, nobody, kind of like Cayenne was talking about in the stream, nobody even knows why Endless Online exists. Like, there are so many people, okay, for as an example, there's so many people that still play WoW today. I'm not talking about like classic servers, I'm talking about like Shadowlands, whatever, the newest stuff. They play WoW only because they're so invested in the characters and the story and that universe itself. We play EO simply for nostalgia. Well, when you try to attract a player that has no nostalgia, but you also have no world, you have no, like, there's no context to the average Joe, this game is just a game. Like, there's nothing, they're not invested at all. They don't know anything about it. And, you know, Cayenne said, well, for all we know, Opposen's a good guy. Well, you know, we don't know. Like, there was never
really
any
no
sort of story building.
Yeah, there is no context or lore to EO. And I think that also needs to be implemented in EO, is like actual context. Give us some story. Like something we can roleplay to. I agree with you there. They're really, the only people that are ever going to be invested in EO is if you were that person during that time who played EO and had fond memories of it. But also, I think, to kind of bounce off that, the only way I've been able to get some people to play EO who've never played it before is simply out of curiosity. For my content, EO is a perfect game for creating content, like the EO adventure stuff that we do, the little skits and stuff. They only really do come on, though, to do that, which is fine. They're coming on, they're doing stuff for EO, and they're helping the community by doing that, but I think that EO is, at this point, the only thing that's kind of going for it is like the nostalgia effect, the community, but also how open it is, what you can do with it. Some people just use it for a chatting client. Some people just sit there and just chat. Some people use it to roleplay. Some people just use it to grind and levels. Some people just use it to troll.
But I think that's, you know, to some extent, like I think the game should be, you should be able to utilize the game for whatever function makes you happy. But at the same time, when we were playing the game, you know, I can remember back in the day, I was like, man, I wonder, you know, what is Volt going to release next? What's coming out? Like, what armor's coming out? There was so much. You're invested in the game because largely you want to make sure that you're ready to go do the new content, or you want to go see the new area. You want to. I have never seen a game or a community get so excited when one item is released into the game. If you release, like, if you post anything into the art section of the Endless Online Discord, the TFG Discord, any of those Discords, people get pumped up because they're like so excited for something new. And I think that if you could find some people that were interested in the game, and that the thing is too, is like there are a lot of talented people out there, but like you guys were talking about when you were talking about the team, you've got to find people that are level-headed, that have the game's best interest at heart, and you know, that are just genuinely good people. Because there's a lot of talented people that, I mean, I wouldn't let them stand behind me because they'd probably shoot me in the back. Like,
Right.
I mean, you just got to find good people, and I think a lot of these teams, they have one or two people that are really devoted and really care, and then you've got some people that really probably shouldn't be associated with the projects at all.
Oh, definitely. Like, it's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing to have passion. And I think until we find an actual dedicated team that actually has both talent and passion and trust, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it's just going to stay still and stagnant. And it would be really interesting, though, one day to see something like that, like an actual passion project that is coming out of it. And
That actually has some passion.
yeah, exactly. And I think it would be really interesting. I think, if anything, it would create a spark in the community one day to see something like that being made. But until then, it's just passionate people who really want to see something like that.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it's a slippery slope, and I think the people are in the community to do it. It's just, when are they going to come together to do it? It's tough, man. I don't know. There's truly a lot of talented people that could do some amazing things, but at the end of the day, these are passion projects, and people, you know, take them in their own time. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know.
You still there, Cayenne?
Did you fall asleep on us? You can hop in the voice chat too if you want, Cayenne. We can all talk about EO. I gotta say though, this is probably my favorite stream I've done so far. You guys have been on top of it today.
Yeah, I usually catch the streams, you know, most of the time, but I'm actually free today to actually sit and watch and interact, so
I love
try to
it.
get involved.
I love it.
I think, honestly, a lot of the issues for these games, in my opinion, stem from, you have the programmers, you have the artists, but do you have the people behind the scenes that interact with the community, that actually sit and discuss the systems that are being implemented and why they're implemented, the direction of the project? I just feel like the biggest issue that every Endless Online, you know, community faces is transparency and leadership. Like, you know, if you, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about anybody because I don't want bad blood with anybody, but if you're going to lead one of these projects, you can't be somebody that's, you know, getting mad at people all the time. Like, I don't know, like I've ran several guilds in WoW, and I know this is kind of a lazy comparison, but I could get into my professional life, but I'm not going to. But in WoW, if you're a guild master in WoW and you're not fully transparent, you don't let people know what's going on. If you can't work with people, your guild's going to die. It's not going to work. Like you have to be able to identify the problem, how we're moving forward, work with people, and you got to be very transparent with your information. The Discord that we ran for our guild, I mean, it had all of the information you could ever need about the guild, the rules, the times, everything. And I think when you're trying to design these servers, like I've been on, like the Bones Underground website some, and I think there are some areas where it could improve and it could, include a little bit more information for players that are new. But also, other than yourself, you really don't see, like, I mean, all these servers for Endless Online, how many content creators are pushing content? I feel like, if you own one of these servers, why are you not trying to promote it? Why are you not asking yourself the question, how do I get new people into my game? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. Like I don't know why I don't see like a clone channel, like an actual dedicated clone channel that actually is pumping out content for the game. Or I don't know if Bones Underground has something like that, but like it seems like you just have these YouTubers who are content like me, Bling, and some other people out there that are doing it, and we're the ones promoting. But why isn't the actual developers doing this?
And just taking it a step farther than that, why are those developers, when they log into the game, and I've watched everybody log into Bones Underground. Bones Underground is probably the best for this. When you log into that game, when I logged into it for the first time, somebody popped up, they said, hey, are you a new player, whatever, and they gave me some starting tips or whatever. But if I was developing the game, I think I would look at it from the approach of, I'm a new player, somebody cannot be here 24/7 365. How do I ensure that this new player's experience will at least make enough sense? If you can hook somebody for the first couple hours, you probably got them. Like they're probably invested enough that they're going to keep checking out the game and trying to get a little farther each time. And I think that if you provided some content that was easily accessible, so like on the website, or if you just kind of, I don't want to say wrote a guide, but if you gave some story, some context, like, this is maybe how you should proceed. I know the questing system in Endless is kind of, not so great, but if you could utilize it so that you could teach somebody how to play, and some of the private servers that I've seen, like I've watched Bling play a couple, where they kind of teach you how to play and what to do. But you get that new player invested, you get them into the community, and you might lose 8 out of 10. But if you keep 2 players out of 10 on a recurring basis, I mean, look at how many people make up the official Endless Online Discord. What, 300 and, oh, that's the online. So I don't know. There's probably like 1,000. I'm just going to guess. But if you could get 2 new players that were actively playing over and over and over, like you're eventually going to grow the community. And I think if you had content that was actually being released with some intention, people like myself anyway would be like, okay, I got to get leveled up, I got to do this. Like you feel more inclined to do things because you're looking to the future, you're not just locked into what's here right now. And I think that's really important.
Oh, I agree. I'll be right back. Let me go use the restroom real quick. I see that Cayenne's in the voice chat with us, so you guys keep a conversation going. I'll be right back. Do whatever topic you guys want to talk about. I'll be right back.
I'm Cayenne, by the way.
Hello?
I know it says Wishlock, but that's my other name.
Hello, how are you?
Good. This has been a very engaging conversation. This is one of the first times I've really seen like more people come in and be interested in discussing Endless Online in his streams.
Yeah, I've jumped in here before. I'm like I'm like a pretty busy guy, so like I usually don't have enough time to I guess truly interact, but I usually watch. But I think there's so much that could be done, and I think it says a lot for the game and for the community that so many people are still so interested in this type of game. Like,
Yeah.
I just, he kind of briefly mentioned like going into the 3D space and stuff like that, but um, I don't really think, I think this game, the reason it's so, it just feels a niche. Like I've played like every MMO from classic RuneScape until New World. Like I've played Star Wars: The Old Republic, like everything you can think of, I've probably played it. And I want a game like Endless Online to be successful so bad that it drives me insane.
So to you, what exactly about Endless Online do you think is its niche? Like what sets it apart? Are you talking about like the isometric pixel art kind of aesthetic, or is there something more to it?
I think it's got a lot to do with the art style and the overall, the simplistic combat system. I think the crafting system is actually really good. Coming from, RuneScape, for example, there's really, I mean, you've got your skills and whatnot. You can make some stuff, but it's really not that great. All your stuff is drops. Um, I think having a lot of your gear be crafting, from simple materials that you gather throughout the world is really neat.
Yeah.
I think that the ability to trade set items is really good. So in World of Warcraft, you can create items, but once you equip them, most of the time, they're yours forever. You can't do anything with them other than disenchant them for crystals or something.
Oh.
So I really like the way that the game is set up, the systems that are in place while they're unfinished. I think they're, I want to use the word unique because I've not seen all this kind of come together in a way that really felt good, if you will. Um, I think this game and the way that it's set up has so much potential if the right people, it takes some people, in my opinion, if we're talking about professional careers, you've got hard skills and soft skills. And I think the issue for a lot of endless online communities is that a lot of people possess the hard skills to be successful, but you've got to have the soft skills and you've got to understand how to interact with your community, what level of transparency you have to have, and even the amount of leadership that it takes to sort of culminate ideals, push them out to the player base, get some feedback. I mean, even whenever some of these servers put out a poll, like I have never seen a community, like if you want to see a community that is just utterly, I don't know, like no matter what Blizzard releases, World of Warcraft community is just fed up with it. When it comes to the endless online community, you could literally post pixel art of a bunny rabbit and you could tell them to jump and they would say how high, because that's how bad people want new content that excites them and makes them happy and that they look forward to. Because the people that are still involved with this game 10 or 15 years later, truthfully, they love the game and they want the game to be something special. A lot of the people in the community are little toxic sometimes, but if you like get to actually talking to them, they really want to see this game do well, and they want to get back to the endless that they used to play and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. I mean, I feel like most people who are still around are mainly around for nostalgia, and it's like, that's just, if you're around for that dang long, there's probably gotta be some sort of desire to watch this game succeed, or to become something more,
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the majority of people on Endless Online who still play it. At least that's what I believe, anyways.
I think a lot of the people are just like hanging on. Like I think a lot of it is nostalgia. But I mean, look at the 4 people in this room. I think we're all here for nostalgia, but if we look at the bigger picture, I think we all are deep down inside hoping that there's a successor and something
definitely.
that's successful.
Especially going by our conversations thus far, both in text and in voice, I think all 4 of us, we kind of have that vibe to us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just gonna say we want to see it continue. We want to see it make a comeback.
It definitely would be nice. Like I would be lying if I said I didn't have a fever dream of making, revamping EO and making something like a successor to EO. But at the same time, like I know nothing about coding, or I'm only good at like making content videos, maybe coming up with ideas and suggestions for like quest and weapons, and giving out ideas for game elements, like like the weapon balancing thing. And I'd probably be there for mainly the community, like moderating the community and stuff. If I was to ever do something like that, that would be the role I would try to aim for. But that alone, those certain skills there that I just listed, would not make a game go far. Like it would need a team, like a team of people with unique skill sets.
Yeah. For myself, best I can do is maybe story and also pixel art, but I definitely could not. Like a programmer would be necessary, and one who could probably remake Endless Online from the ground up, because it's from multiple people saying it's been coded very poorly.
Yeah. I mean, I could also do like the other thing I'm also good. I forgot to mention the skill set is I make midis, and music. So I could do that too, like make music MIDI files for the game, or even like make them higher quality MP3s, like revamp the actual songs into something new. But other than that, that's all I could really contribute.
I mean, right there, that's almost like basically the missing element is technically a programmer, if we combine what we've said so far.
The base game is very simple. It just seems, from what I understand, is coded terribly. But the core game, being that simple, is one of its biggest strengths, I think. If it was super overly complicated, none of us would have gone as far as we got in this.
Well, it's kind of like, you mentioned that you play WoW. If this game was like WoW, why would we not play WoW?
Yeah.
So,
this is my break from WoW, when I want to play something simpler but still an MMO.
It's like, and you kind of mentioned it, and getting into some of the endless online stuff, and having talked to arguably Cascade from TFG. He's kind of one of those guys that's kind of more removed from the community, and he sort of communicates with that community through his brother, who like runs a lot of this stuff, and he's a really nice guy. But like Cascade I've never had a conversation with the guy, like in text, anything. And I just think that so many of these people sort of alienate or remove themselves so much from the community. I don't know. It's like all these teams, I don't know if they just don't realize the importance, because when I talked to Cascade's brother, I was like, hey, I think these things would really push the community like to the next level if you release some content to draw in some new people. If you put out polls, if you put out, like, almost nobody even puts out, I've not looked in Bones Underground enough to know, but every game should release some sort of patch notes to the community so that the community knows, hey, this was fixed or this happened. There's just that little element of communicating with your community that I think is so forgotten, but is yet so important. And I'm not sure, like, everybody describes the EO thing as like a passion project, but do none of these people want to take their passion project to the next level to where maybe, they may not be making money directly, if you will, but where you get enough donations and people that appreciate your work that you could sort of maybe step back the hours at your 9 to 5 and like focus on the project. Like, I don't know.
I will let me piggyback off you on that when it comes to like patch notes. Like, I do agree with you that patch notes are important to let the community know what's been fixed, what's been added or removed. One thing I will give Cyrus credit for in Bones Underground, when he was watching our Slime Quest videos, he noticed an error that was going on, and when I was playing, like, I couldn't see certain things in the game. And he also noticed in the second one that when we gave the Slime Guard pizza,
that we still had pizza in our inventory. And so he wrote me on Discord saying, hey, after seeing what you did, like, here's how you fix the errors in the game. And he showed me how to do it, how to fix it. And then he said in one of the YouTube comments on the pizza things, like, hey, thank you for showing me this. Like, I had no clue that it was doing this. So he fixed it now to where, you know, it actually does what it's supposed to do. So that is one good thing about Cyrus, is that he doesn't do like what you said should be done, but he definitely does pay very close attention to the content creators and pays attention to those little errors and mistakes and patches it quickly. And so
I mean,
I'll give him that.
I think he is the most, you know, I've had very limited like experience or interaction. I mean, I've not had any interaction with him, but I've watched all your stuff. And I've logged into the server myself, and like just some of the stuff people say, and I see him talking in like the official server every now and then and stuff like that. He seems to be the most transparent and willing to talk to people that I have seen. And you know, I think if you could just build on that and interact with the community and have the conversations of, why are we implementing this? What is our roadmap moving forward? I don't know that any of these servers actually have a roadmap. Like, you know, there's no AAA title or AAA company in the world that develops a game and just says, you know, Billy Bob made a really cool sprite, let's throw it in. Like, no, it's, you know, it's got to come into the system in a way that makes sense, and it's not just random. I think that if you could structure the game so that it's sort of, like I said, it's kind of like not really a tutorial, but kind of a tutorial to get people sort of into the game, get them a little bit of understanding, and just get them started. Like, you know, I mean, the tutorial island when EO, like when I first started playing EO, which I don't think tutorial island was a thing at first, I can't remember, but it at least gets you started. You're sort of invested by the time you go to the main world, and you know, you have at least enough direction to do something. A lot of these servers you jump into, in my experience, if you go one map over, you touch an enemy, you die. And you're like, okay, well, what do I do? Because I literally just went out of this zone where I literally just started. I touched this mob in the very next map and I die. Like, it almost needs to be linear for the very beginning so that people have enough time to develop an understanding. And I don't know, I think the important thing is attracting new players, retaining those players, rather than assuming that everybody knows what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also want to break free from this real quick and go to Cadman real quick when he said that coding it would be a nightmare. And I agree with you, because I've talked to the Wired Rabbit about this a lot, and from what I've heard, based off the game engine itself, it is a nightmare dealing with this, and it also has a very limited space cap. I think honestly the best course of action for if you were to revamp EO or make a true successor to EO, it's gonna have to be in a different game engine today. Like, it would have to be in something like Unity or something that could handle all these changes, but it also would have to be rebuilt from the ground up, which is also a whole nightmare on its own. And I think that would be the first best option, is consider a decent new game engine that could handle this kind of changes for EO. But the game engine we have now, it's so old, it's so outdated, that to do something with what it's being used now is just not efficient enough. But that's my idea on it.
I think in regards to that, because I don't know if you recall, but myself and a couple friends were actually working on something that was like an endless online remake in Unity. I don't necessarily think that you have to, well, you don't have to use an engine like Unity to rebuild endless online, but there are limitations that are inherently built into the original engine based on when it was built. You can build a custom engine. I guess the benefits of building it in a pre-existing engine or software like that is that a lot of the more redundant systems, so like things like physics, you don't have to develop all that yourself. But I mean, it's really however somebody wants to approach it, I guess.
Oh yeah, I mean a custom engine would be the best option, but like I'm just using like Unity as an example for like if we continue to use the same engine today that's being used for Clone, I think we're gonna continuously have the problems that we're having now, and maybe even worse problems down the road for EO. But it definitely
Well,
needs to be in a new engine for sure. If we need to handle like the new changes.
so you can't exactly, or you could not build the game with Clone's engine, but you could build it with Cyrus's engine, if that makes sense, because
Oh yeah.
they have taken the engine itself and essentially redone it. And that's the same thing like Cascade, Elevations, like all these servers that are much more custom. That's what they've done, is they've sort of removed a lot of the limitations, but they've retained a lot of the, I guess, what's the word for it? They've retained essentially
like
the
core
system.
features.
Yeah, the core. They've retained the core, but eliminated the limitations of the original client.
I did notice that Bones Underground, just from playing it, it does. I really genuinely questions if it had been rebuilt from the ground up, or if it did use code from original Endless Online and transfer it over. I didn't know, but the way that it plays, to me it came across as though it was like remade completely, almost.
So I think there is, having talked to, actually talking to Wired Rabbit and then talking with Cascade's brother, it does have to be redone to eliminate the data thing, because I think, so is Bling your sister? Is that right? Okay. So I think there was a server that she was playing, and I'm trying to think of what it was. Like Wired Rabbit was really big on it too.
Rewind or something like that.
I can't remember which one it was, but the issue that
Evers?
what was
Endless
that?
Ever.
I'm not
Ever
sure.
Endless or something?
Ever Endless, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, Ever Endless.
That a lot of people really liked the server, but they got to the limitations of their client, and because they didn't have a custom client that did not eliminate the limitations of the original, they were stuck. Like they couldn't do anything.
Um,
Yeah.
can you explain to me what the limitation is? Is this a server limitation, like
It's
a memory cap for like data that's being stored on the server that's
s-
being purchased or whatever? Or is this a limitation that is like
it,
for like rendering or memory? What is it?
it's a limitation for basically a lot of different things of the game. So say like for example for Clone, I think the main reason why Clone doesn't see a whole lot of unique or big updates these days is because they're pretty much almost at their cap. So implementing a new NPC or a quest or anything, a map for example, would require space in the game engine. And when you hit that cap, so say like if you hit that cap, you can't add anything else in the game. You can't add a new map. You can't add an NPC. You can't add a quest or an item or anything. So the game itself would just be capped when it comes to new content in general.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to like get the specific cap that's on it because
I'm not sure if
as a programmer, I'm not, or I don't program, but I do like game development with an engine. I'm not quite sure what the limitation is, but just going by the way that people are describing it.
I don't think
Because
it's a
sorry.
memory like that thing. Like if you look, we have spell skills that have never done anything in Endless because nobody ever programmed in that system. You'd have to go through, rebuild the engine to have that system in place to be able to expand on that. That's kind of what I understand from the limitation. You need to go through and rebuild how it works for like we have the passive skill button, which is I've never in an official endless or clone had a passive skill you could use, from what I remember.
No, I think, I don't know if, because I'm by no stretch could I code an engine or like remake Endless Online. But I think that if you could get the right people together, like if you could, and I don't know if someone like Cyrus would even be partially entertained with this at all. But if you had something, and I'm not like saying like Bones Underground 2, but if you had something that was sort of a spin-off project that was like, this is kind of what we're thinking, this is what we want to do, and you work with people that want to promote it, that want to actually implement systems for the future rather than just thinking about now. I mean, maybe you could build something special. I wish that more people were willing to sort of take that plunge. Like, I mean, I'm like a super busy person. Like, probably, I mean, well, I don't care. I'll just tell you. Like, so I'm a director of safety and health for a refining company, specifically for like a region of refineries, and I'm like just super busy, super swamped all the freaking time. But obviously, I'm not like super, I guess, passionate about that. Like, I would much rather do something like this, but I would, devote a lot of time to try to make it happen, and I just would like to work with some people on a project that actually considers the future rather than the now, and try to make something happen.
So for you, Enrix, it kind of sounds like you're less focused on making like Endless Online 2, so to speak, and just something that's like Endless Online, but like actually has a direction that it's going to go in. Like it's actually trying to succeed in this like modern time.
So when I talk to, and I can't, like, so his name is Alex, but I don't, like, his actual Discord name is like Sakichi or something. Like, I don't even know how you say it, but he's Cascade's brother from the Forbidden Gates. And the Forbidden Gates, from my understanding, and I remember when it came out, like I was one of the original players. It came out when Endless Online was still relevant as Endless Online, like Bolt's Endless Online. And I think it was kind of seen as like a successor in some ways, but then it kind of fizzled out. There's a guy in the official Endless Online server, if you see him kind of talking, his name is Tiv or Tivulos or I don't know exactly. Let me see. I talk to him all the time, but how you actually say his name in Discord, I don't know. But he's pretty cool. But anyways, he led that project, and then there's like some drama around it. But I think that the way you have to go is you have to make a game that is like Endless Online, but you have to put your own unique spin on it, so that you're not sitting here like worried about this copyright stuff. Like, which
Yeah.
I really don't know with Cyrus's project if that's something that you truly have to worry about, because it is custom. A lot of it's custom. I don't, there's probably some assets in there that are
There
from,
is.
but
There's some pixel art assets, I know that.
he could probably easily eliminate them, redo them as his
Yeah.
own, and make the project entirely, copyright free, if you will. I mean, a lot of the
Yeah.
systems are still going to be similar, but like, there's so many games, well, there are and there aren't, but there's a lot of 2D isometric games that are like Endless Online. Like, you can't copyright the fact that you press the control key to attack. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think so long as you're not just booting up Endless Online remake and it's almost the same thing and you're building on it, you can eliminate sort of that worry. And also, I think it's important that if you could recreate it, you could start developing your own story. Like, this is where we're at in the world. My big thing with all the humongous numbers, and I know that people want to feel powerful, but you probably don't feel any more powerful hitting a 100,000 than if you hit a 100 in endless. Like, you just make the
Yeah.
numbers so large that people it's so hard to grasp. I don't care how intelligent you are, but when you make those numbers so big, so the example I was talking about in World of Warcraft was Mista Pandaria. It was like the 5th expansion, I think, of WoW, and the numbers got so big that you were like, okay, I'm doing 290,000 DPS, but what is that? Like, what is that actually? So then they squish the numbers. They come back down. You're like, okay, I'm doing 5,000 DPS. This monster has 300,000. It's going to take me 60 seconds to kill it. And I think that keeping numbers to a point where they're rational and that they make sense is so important, because if you don't, like I was telling Sin, you turn your game just into a qualitative game. Like, there's no quantity. You can't sit there and tell me, oh, I'm hitting for 12,500. It's going to take me 18 seconds to do 1.7 million damage. Like, you can't. I don't know. I think it's too big. It's not really comprehensible, and I think a lot of the problem is that in these systems, the way you set your systems up, okay, everything that you build, it's all equations. Like, from a programming standpoint, like strength times 2 plus 3 plus weapon damage equals whatever. Like, all it is those formulas, and how you set those formulas up determines the numbers on the screen. And I think when you let those just get so big that they don't make sense, or that you create weapons in your game that utterly removes all relevance of anything prior to that, I think in a game like this, you set yourself up for failure, because the reason that endless online kind of works is because even though the system is very poorly balanced, everything still has some relevance. Like, you can use the worst game in endless online and it still works. Like, you can go fight golems with a kava staff or kava staff, whatever, or you can fight them with a twin blade. You can still kill them. But when you make stuff that's just so out there, and you make the power gap so big, you can't come back from it.
Yeah, at least the gear in Endless isn't like 3,000 times a base item. It's only like maybe 10 points higher or something.
Oh,
in
real
that
quick,
sense.
from Contact, he said they're actively working on getting rid of any copyrighted assets on BU. I
Nice.
felt like throwing that in there.
I have a lot of hope in BU for being its own thing.
I do too. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I think we.
Oh.
I'm just saying, yes, it's nice that in Endless, the difference between, say, a scav and a dagger is not insurmountable by stats.
Yeah.
In response to what Enrix was saying.
Sorry, I'm also shopping for my wife's Christmas presents, and I had to slip downstairs and look at a pair of shoes.
I'm half asleep. I don't know why I got up.
I've been bouncing back and forth between the chat and then people PMing me on EO, so I'm trying to multitask, but it's really hard to do that when you're me. Because I'm not the most multitasking person.
I really think there's so much, so much potential, and a game like EO really lends itself towards adaptability. Maybe not the client itself, but it's not that hard to throw together assets for this sort of game.
Yeah.
There's obviously people that are way better at it than others. If you take some of my pixel art and compare it to somebody else's, you're gonna be like, oh, this Enrix guy, he's horrible. But people can make some really cool stuff. But I think that the biggest thing that a lot of these games, they're missing is the people that everybody has quest writers. Everybody has people that are community engagement. And I think a lot of these teams, they just don't they're like, okay, you're a programmer, okay, you're a pixel artist, you're this, and they forget those people that actually lend themselves towards the actual development of the game. Like, World of Warcraft would not be World of Warcraft if you just had pixel artists and graphic designers and you didn't have anybody develop the story of World of Warcraft. Nobody would still be playing it, because it is, to be honest, at this point, a very horrible game for the most part. But people
Yeah.
are so invested in the characters and the stories, even though, disclaimer, what they're doing with Sylvanas is crazy, but like, it's so important. And I think a lot of even games like Maple Story, like, Maple Story's not like some super lore rich game or whatever, but there's still, people, there's stuff that people can sort of sink their teeth into, and they're
As someone who very much loves MapleStory, it's quite lore rich, I would say.
but, well, that's kind of what I'm saying, though, is like there's still something there, even though I feel like a game like Maple Story, which is, I'm not like a big Maple Story guy, but it's developed, what is it, it's developed in like Korea, right, or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Yeah, I
think so.
think so.
And some of that stuff
Next
gets
beyond, right?
it gets like lost in translation, as in, maybe people on this side of it may not get to see everything that people, in the original language get to see, because that takes additional time and resources and whatnot. Like, you don't get the full-fledged like cinematics on MapleStory like you do in WoW that I'm aware of. But they still develop a story, and people are still very invested in it. Like, you can't tell me anything about Endless that you're like emotionally attached to, that you're like, oh, this this universe, it really means something to me. No, it's just nostalgia. There's no, I really thought this was cool, or I really like, I don't know, it's just, now I think some of the stuff
I
watching
really love saving Pedro's son. That's about it.
Do what?
I will.
he said he liked saving Pedro's son the quest.
That's
Oh.
the only thing you can even think of, though. For like,
Oh,
That's
yeah,
story.
yeah.
I will say that, interestingly enough, in spite of like the lack of literally anything, Endless Online has, and it might have been a roundabout way of doing things due to coding limitations, I'm not sure, but it has some, and this was mentioned earlier, it has just really interesting, unique like things, like weird spaces, like you were saying, that are like hidden out of the way that you wouldn't think to like go. I don't know, there's like hidden zones all over Endless Online. Even like getting to the Fire Void is
Yeah.
like, there's no reason to go to the Fire Void, but just the fact that you can go there is just, there's just a lot of mystery to it all. I think Endless Online
Earlier
has
today,
that.
out of nowhere, I'm just like, I haven't been to the beach void. Let's go back and look at how I get there again. I did nothing, but it was fun to go back.
Yeah.
I think it's it's really good to be transparent, but I think that having those little secrets are, so imperative to what make this game what it is, because you can step on a tile and you can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it has like a novelty factor to it that you don't really see in a lot of other games.
By the way, real quick, I just want to say shout out to Unit. Thanks for joining the stream, Unit. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. Sorry. Okay. You guys
Oh,
can
you're
continue.
good. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could be done, and I mean, I hope, at some point somebody sees it all the way through. I was kind of working with some of my friends to sort of make that a reality. I think the brakes have sort of got pumped on that, just because of their real life situations. But I mean, all of these people that make these servers are more than capable of doing it. I just think they need to get the right people involved, people that care about community, that are willing to have conversations about how do we get new people in. What is our ultimate goal? Like,
Yeah.
if your ultimate goal is not to, I feel like Bones Underground, like, what does Cyrus want? And I tried to ask, Alex from TFG, like, what what does Cascade want? What do you guys want? Like, I think that's a really important question that people need to ask themselves. Like, do we want this game to have 500 players? Do we want this game to grow? Do we want, like, people need to determine where they are and what they want to do, I think, to be able to sort of move forward.
You know, Cyrus did mention that he may one day come on and have a discussion with me on stream or on a recording. So maybe one day we can actually get Cyrus into the voice chat and just do a stream where we all come on and just kind of pick his brain and see what he's expecting out of Bones Underground. What's his intentions with it, and maybe we can kind of get some more like inside information about, you know, certain things or his own opinion of EO or
Yeah,
Bones
I'd love
Underground.
that.
Because he's talked about it before doing it. I know that he's at a different time zone than us. Like he lives in Australia, so different time zone. But we do need to get him in one day and just kind of pick his brain.
Yeah.
I've never played on the Bones Underground one. I've only been playing EO again for a couple months now, mostly on the main clone. I tried to get into Ever Endless, but that was empty. So
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've only played Bones Underground as a different server just because everybody was recommending it to me, and then there was another server that was recommended to me, but I really didn't have an interest in playing it. But yeah, Clone is kind of like my main although here lately Bones Underground's been my kind of main go-to place, just because I feel kind of spoiled rotten playing Bones Underground. Like once you play Bones Underground, then you go back to EO. It's like I said, like I feel like I'm returning back to the basics, is what I'm doing, and it's, I don't know. Each server has their own enjoyment out of it.
I think there's, there's a lot to be said. I don't know how much you guys have been following just sort of the trends of these games. I mean, Bones Underground is sitting at 80 players, and the Clone is sitting at like 73 right now.
yeah, I was just pulling up those numbers, and the biggest other one is like 8. So it's really only Bones and Clone.
Yeah.
Well, the TFG servers, TFG, which I think you should check it out, Siin. And just look at it, because it's like a completely different game, but it's like extremely reminiscent of Endless Online. Like it is not Endless Online. Like it is you're gonna log in and you're gonna say this is just like custom Endless Online, because that's kind of what it is. I don't play TFG really. I just kind of went on there to check it out. But I guess what TFG is and was is what I think somebody needs to capture, because it's Endless Online, but it's a unique IP, and I think it has, that's where the potential is. Create something that is reminiscent of Endless Online, keep that same charm, the same core, finish the features that are missing, but make it your own game. I think whoever does that could be extremely successful. And if, it's a passion project, because you're passionate about it, why would anybody not want to make their passion project, their livelihood? Like, if you told me that I could release a server tomorrow, and so long as I maintain that server, I could make my income from that server, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I actually have a question for all of you, and this is something that I've also kind of bounced the idea off of when it comes to EO. You definitely probably could not do it with Clone, and you definitely probably couldn't do it. I don't know. The idea that I had was, say if playing EO or a revamped EO in a new game engine, a custom game engine that can do all this stuff, okay? Say it was made. Do you think it would ever be possible, like say if servers was in fact a great way to expand the universe, and
And you don't want to just add anybody's server on there. Anybody can make a server and just abuse the admin powers on a server and make it not enjoyable for everybody. But like, I guess the idea I have is the concept of Minecraft. So say like you had a server that has like portals to other servers that you could just warp to. Could that actually be a possibility, or would that be impossible to do for something like Endless Online? Like, I know it'd be impossible for Clone, for sure, because of its limitations. But if you were to create like something unique that is reminiscent of Endless Online, do you think something like that could be possible? Like, say like you have
So-
your main server, and then you have like a capture the flag server, or like you know,
I'm
You know what I
kind
mean?
of hearing something like Roblox or Secondly from what you're talking there,
yeah,
where you can build your own separate kind of isolated areas.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how that would work in a game that's supposed to be progressive, like, because it's at the core it is an RPG with a progressive system,
Right.
and that if you make one realm just too easy to grind in, it quickly diminishes value in other realms. You'd have a weird balancing issue. I feel.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's very true.
I think that
If
would be sort of the issue as well, because you would sort of create, you would undermine the sense of progression, if you will.
yeah,
So I played a game called Furcadia, which I think actually came out around the time of Endless Online. It is also isometric, and it actually was built in a way that you could make your own games in it and then upload those games to the main world of Furcadia. And basically, the way that it works is, and yeah, there were things that were like RPGs that had their own progression systems and their own leveling systems. And the thing is that basically all of those individual worlds would have their own unique variables, and so levels and items wouldn't carry over between worlds, but there would be like a main hub world. I feel like that that'd probably be something extremely complex when it comes to Endless
Oh,
Online,
definitely,
but it wouldn't
definitely.
be impossible.
It was just an idea that I thought, and I was like, this is a really radical idea, but I had to share it. I feel like I had to
But
share
yeah,
that
that-
idea.
That's an interesting idea.
For a game that feels that currently, that is kind of just what Roblox is.
Yeah.
I think to some extent, you've got to, you know, as far as the implementation of various things, I think you've got to look at it from the stance of simplicity, like how difficult would this be to make happen? How simple would this be to make happen? Um, the original, Endless Online client, based on my conversations with really the people from TFG, like some of the stuff Wired Rabbit we talked about, but the stuff I heard from the guy from TFG, you have to go in and edit a lot of stuff individually based on the original client, and a lot of the servers that are custom do adopt a lot of that stuff that's really written in a way that was not designed to allow for um, global change, I guess. So like if you wanted to change the values of an item, let's just say the system to modify damage. So if you implemented a weapon system where you could modify damage, a lot of those items, if I'm not mistaken, would have to be edited individually. And the way that the code is written, it's really hard to identify not only the item, but the attribute that you were trying to change. Um, I think that whoever makes, the custom client, and I don't know how Cyrus has this stuff set up on Bones Underground, but if you could make it so that it all sort of fit into a tree of subsets so that you could modify everything in one swoop. Like if you guys were talking about, a night day cycle, just to give you an example, you could assign every single item an attribute, and that attribute could equal 1 or it could equal 0. And at nighttime, if attribute equals 1, item damage, is equal to 0 to 0. If it equals 0, then damage is increased by times 1.20, whatever. And that gives you the ability to change the entire game in a very limited amount of code. But if you don't have that set up into sort of this tree hierarchy, then you have to go in and make those modifications individually for every single item. You can't just assign an attribute, like if you wrote a class and it was like slashing, slashing, piercing, crushing, and it gave it different formulas, whatever, then you could go into the item, assign it the attribute, and then you could make system-wide changes just by editing that class, and that class would determine the actual affix on the item versus going in and assigning. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but
I
No,
I
I
think
know
I
what
know what
you
you're
mean.
saying, and I'm not a programmer either. I've very little dabbled in some basic stuff. But one thing I know about EO is the source code is lost, and that's where you usually see those easily identifiable things before you compile it into a finished code. So like the code we have is just item 1.4 does this to this. Whereas in a source code it would be like Dark Boots does this to this or something. And it's harder to identify it without the source code. This is why several games have been lost. Like Panzer Dragoon Saga, for example, they can't remake it because they have to rebuild the entire game because the source code was lost. And without the source code, it becomes that much harder to edit everything because you have to go find and test each individual string in the code to see what it actually does instead of having a easily identifiable root. Again, I
Yeah.
could be explaining this wrong because I'm not a programmer, but
no, I'm pretty sure that you're like right on the money with it.
I think that's the concise way to describe it, is that a lot of things, it sounds like the way that you guys are saying Endless Online is designed, it's like items are looked at individually instead of like being put into like a hyper group or like a class or something like that.
like it's kind of off topic. There's a game called Yandere Sim, and the guy who's making it is terrible at programming. And it kind of reminds me of how I've heard the Endless described on how it works, and how he's been coding his game.
What was that you just said? Sorry.
The way Endless was originally coded reminds me a lot of how I've heard it described as how I've heard his game described and how it's coded, where he individually adds in every single interaction separately instead of having a string of executables that control various things. Everything is very much individually
Yeah.
controlled.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
what a stream today, guys. Like,
Yeah.
this has been a nice stream. Deep conversations about Endless. I want to do this again soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here today. I think we've been going for quite a while, but thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you for your contributions and your opinions and just being a part of today's stream. You guys really made this stream just a great stream. I love it, and probably my favorite stream so far. But I will be streaming again next Saturday and Sunday, probably around the same time. Saturday we'll be streaming Bones Underground. Sunday we'll be streaming Endless Online. So you guys are more than welcome to come back in, jump in voice chat with me, and just talk and keep me with the conversation going, because this has been a lot of fun. I really have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll
And
be
thank
sure
you
to
for the
come
stream.
back. I'll be sure to come back anytime I'm available.
Please do.
Schedule is hell.
Yeah, for sure.
But I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate everybody out there who's been watching today. Thank you so much. Have a very happy Sunday, and we'll see you next time on Siin TV.